People do. Maybe because they don't even know it exists. And again, it's not a guarantee that you're going to have a great marriage. But it just tries to line up as much with Scripture to say, listen, if you're in a marriage, it's permanent. And divorce should be the last resort, not the first. And that's why I want you to write this down. Reconciliation is always preferred. I mean, that's where you fight for your marriage. You don't just throw in the towel. You don't just call it quits. If you have a spouse that wants out, you come back and you say, listen, what will it take to get our marriage back on track? Reconciliation is always God's will because marriage is a lifelong commitment. And God commands that the marriage be over. And Jesus corrects that. They ask the question, is it commanded that a man give his wife a written notice of divorce and send her away? And then Jesus answers this: Moses permitted divorce only as a concession to your hard hearts. But it was never God's originally intent. And then in verse 9, I tell you this, whoever divorces his wife and marries someone else commits adultery unless his wife has been unfaithful. Why is adultery such a big deal in a marriage? That would be an exception clause. Well, if you go back to the Old Testament, when someone committed adultery to someone, the last of those vows state, till death alone shall part us. And so adultery was carried over for two reasons. One, just the severity. Obviously, God had told the children of Israel, if someone commits adultery, they're to be punished by stoning. And so God had put faithfulness in a marriage in the sexual realm a very high priority and premium. And so when you get to the New Testament, Jesus is just affirming that, listen, when there's been unfaithfulness in a marriage, it breaks that sacred trust of faithfulness between one man and one woman. Now, again, does that mean divorce? No. That means that you get a chance to show how God can take even the highest of sin in a marriage, adultery, and can bring forgiveness and healing. That's why I always love to draw attention to Celebrate Recovery. I hear testimonies. In fact, I heard a testimony this week of someone that is involved in Celebrate Recovery that went through what we would describe as just a bad divorce. I mean, there's no good divorce. But you've heard that term, a bad divorce, where there's just lots of hurt, lots of deception, just lots of pain.